Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, staff, and students of CityU. We'd like to welcome all of you to this month's Tea Gathering of Innopreneurs Friday. My name is Nicole Choi.
And I'm Crystal Tong, and it's TGIF.
Crystal and I are student ambassadors of the Innovation Commons. This tea gathering is arranged by Innovation Commons as a way for CityU students to learn more about innovation and entrepreneurship in the real world. Innovation Commons is a one-stop hub to help students develop their innovative ideas, and we are located inside the library.
That's right, Nicole. And these monthly gatherings enable CityU students to listen and learn from entrepreneurs' sharings, and to meet other students who may wish to form innovation teams with them. It's a chance to do networking. So let's move on to the main event. At this time, I would like to introduce Mr. Paul Lee, our first speaker today. He is the co-inventor of Amio and is the co-founder of CEO of Amio Audio. Over the past 5 years, Mr. Lee has won a long list of awards for his work. Mr. Paul Lee is the 2015 Local Innovation Hero of Hong Kong Science and Technology Park, and his startup, Amio, has been selected as Gartner Cool Founder, which is a prestigious award for startup in innovative technology. Today, he will speak on the topic of digital marketing and crowdfunding, giving Hong Kong entrepreneurs a definite edge, followed by a Q&A section. Let's give him a warm welcome.
I'm Paul, and my company is called Amio Audio. We invented and are selling these little devices. And what it does is it's the world's first and only technology that can actually measure your hearing, left and right, low, mid, high tones, how sensitive it is, and use that parameter to let you enjoy audio in the way it should be. It's kind of like glasses for your ears. But today is not about this. Today is about how, by me launching this product and going through and launching it to the world, how I discovered that actually Hong Kong has a definite edge with the new, I guess, new world that is digital marketing and crowdfunding. Yeah, that's Hong Kong using the two swords, I guess. Took me a long time to do this, by the way. So, all right, so I want to use another example. If you think back to Apple when it was in 2001. It's not the all-powerful today Apple that you see today. 2001, Steve Jobs just came back to Apple. It was on the brink of bankruptcy. So it's kind of like I guess in terms of resources-wise, it's a little bit more like startups today than the Apple it is today. So I want to talk about their turnaround product, which is the iPod. Does anyone know what the iPod is? You guys may be too young to remember that. It's an MP3 player, right? There was no such thing before. Well, there was an MP3 players before this, but they were the first one that actually made it big. It turned around Apple, launched the whole, well, MP3 industry, and then eventually got the money for Apple to launch iPhone, and the rest is history. But let's say if you're Steve Jobs, if you have an idea, and you don't have a lot of resources, 10 years ago, he made a big bet to do something like that. What did he have to go through 10 years ago, or wait, 16 years ago now? What it takes to do this, you have to have a great vision, strategy, and you have to have R&D. You have to have a ton of cash to do market research. You have to get another ton of cash to do production. You have to do marketing. And then you give a lot of the cash to retailing. Even just being on the shelf costs a lot of money. And then you find out maybe you succeed or maybe you fail. So if you look at that, again, 10, 15 years ago, that's how everybody does it, to launch a new hardware product especially. It's almost like you try to solve a lot of problems with a stack of cash, except that this graphic that I found, I don't think it truly reflects the severity of the cash burning situation. So I think this is actually what we're talking about. You burn a lot of cash, and you have to really be crazy to actually do that. So crowdfunding and digital marketing, the two new blades, if you will, today, I think you can actually do a lot of the risk, a lot less risk than 10 years ago by using, say, digital marketing, which in my case, I use Facebook, and crowdfunding. In my case, I used Indiegogo. There are others like Kickstarter, but it's the same principles. So what do you do? So what we do, again, today, we have a disruptive technology, I think. What we do is today, you look at all the consumer electronics, there's a lot of quality audio that's being offered. How we improve it is we found that all these quality audio is being measured by the test robot that Apple or Samsung or whatnot has in their lab. So they produce the true vision of their audio to this guy, which is not you. So we think that this is a blind spot. So we created this device to be able to measure your hearing. Basically, we find out how different your hearing is compared to the ideal. And then we put that into the equation so that you can now truly enjoy what Bose or what Apple or what Samsung meant for you to hear. So you use it like, we basically will sit in between the music source and the headphone or the speaker, and we basically, it's like glasses. We reshape the sound to best fit you. So, okay, so we have a good idea. So where do I get all the money to do all this? I don't have a lot of money. So today, what we would do is this. You still need a vision strategy. That you can't change that. You need the idea and you need the tenacity to follow through. But today what you do is you validate first. Before you spend all those money, you validate first. How do you validate? Okay, so this is actually very cool. Where's Edward? I met a guy, Edward. Edward, oh, he's on the computer. So, okay, so I'm trying to, no, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but I have a good story, and you guys have to stop me if I overrun. But this story is actually very, very relevant. So Edward, I just met. He has a cool online food ordering business, right? In Causeway Bay. So you go to their website, and I guess you order food, and they will deliver to you. So just so happens, when I tried to learn about what digital marketing is, to try to market for this thing last year, I met a guy in the US, and he said, well, today, me being an old guy, we don't do things this slowly, right? So he had an example for me on how digital marketing can actually validate your idea before you spend all this money. So, because it's an extra food business, I thought Edward might find this interesting. So this guy's he's like in his mid-20s or 30s. He has lots of disposable income because he's not married, doesn't have kids. And he's like, well, I'd like to just order out or order food to deliver to me. I'm not going to cook. I'm not going to clean. But even just that, even looking at, say, Edward's website or the list of menus that he acquired, it's still a hassle. Every day, there's 3 meals, and he has to order 3 times. It's too much for him to think, right? So he's like, why isn't there a service where I can say I want to spend $30 US, and you surprise me with food in 30 minutes? Just come up with food. I don't care what it is. Maybe I specify it's not spicy, and that's all. So he went to Google and find that there's no such service. So he's like, why don't I start something? And he doesn't start by actually creating a product first. He starts by doing digital marketing. By digital marketing, I mean Facebook ads. What you do is, on Facebook, how many people use Facebook here? Everybody, right? Has anyone placed an ad on Facebook? Probably no one. So when you browse Facebook, on the left side, there are little ads that you probably never click. But actually, those ads are very important to people like us. Because what you can do is you can tell Facebook, okay, I want to spend $20 US a day, which is like 160 bucks Hong Kong. What they will do is they will buy you 5,000 or so. I don't know what the latest rate is, but let's just call it 5,000 impressions. Impressions are little ads that pops up on the browser on Facebook. Doesn't guarantee a click. It just lets you show up to catch eyeballs. So it's interesting because you can actually limit your target audience. So for Edward or for this guy, it's going to be maybe male, maybe 20s and 30s in the US, right, for that guy. And who already subscribed to Food Channel, or who loves food, or who loves Thai food or something. And what it is Facebook would allow you to create ad sets. So for the $20, for the 5,000 impressions, you can choose to say, serve this ad set to all this audience. And an ad set means that they won't, let's say an ad set has 2 ads. You can try to test now. Does the red color get more clicks or does the blue color? Or would a certain spokesperson, or would maybe if you use a dog as the image and a cat as an image, which one is more popular with your audience? So there are several things that you can test. With 5,000 impressions a day, what the guy did was he created an ad that basically says, you know, let me surprise you with food. So there are several things. One is in the world of big data, the idea is if you throw any stupid idea out there, there will always be 1% people who buys it or who clicks on it. So if your ad can never accrue more than a 1% hit rate, then your idea is probably bad and you should stop now. So he put an ad out there. Well, it's a good click rate, maybe 10%. And these are called friction points. If enough people go through enough friction points, you know that it's a good idea. So first of all, people click on the ad, so that's fine. But when the ad clicks on it, you can say let the ad go to a web page, which is the landing page of this service. On the landing page, there's a very simple landing page, a one-purpose landing page. First of all, is a graphic that says, "Oh, foodies rejoice! Let me surprise you with food. Give me a zip code and I'll surprise you with food." A zip code is like a district in Hong Kong. So basically, give me a location and I will surprise you with food. So here's another friction point. After they click on the ad, you go to the site and then you saw the proposition. You like it enough, then you give them the zip code. I mean, it's not an insignificant task because first, people are lazy. Second, you're asking for somewhat personal information. So anyway, so you type the zip code in or type the district in. Great, another friction point conquered. So that's real interest, and you already know which district you want to serve first. Now, because this is not a real service yet, so the second page is always this. We're sorry, what a surprise. We are not live in your area yet, but if you give us your email, then we can let you know when we go live. So it's kind of tricky. It's actually almost like a lie, but I'm not going to go into that territory right now. But here is basically a survey, right? You find interest, you find location, and now you're asking for email address. If enough people actually give you email address, then you have several important things. One, you know there's interest in the service. Two, you know where you should start. And three, you have your initial customers that you can actually, even before you start, you can go back and say, hey, thank you for your interest. We are really going to start delivering in Yau Ma Tei or something. But we'd like to give you a coupon to answer some questions. Do you like hot food? Do you like cold food? Do you like Japanese? Do you like this and that? And now you can compile all your data with basically just, well, a lot of thought and analysis. But money-wise, it's $20 a day, US. And throughout maybe 5 weeks or something, you now have a real data on whether this is a good business or not. And then you go talk to your dad and, hey, can I borrow like $100,000 or something, right? But look at all these money on the left. If you can avoid stupid ideas from the get-go, wouldn't that be much better? So this is what digital marketing gives you today. And then you do R&D, right? And then, okay, crowdfunding is interesting. Crowdfunding, who knows what crowdfunding is? So crowdfunding is not it's like investment, but you don't buy shares in the company. So in my case, basically I have worked on this device for like, where's my device? For a few years now, right? We started in 2010, and by last year we're like, you know what, we are mature in terms of technology, we're going to produce this. So what happened last year was we put our product and idea on the Indiegogo website, which is basically a crowdfunding marketplace. And we say, we have this. If you want to make it real, pre-buy one from me, $99 US. And if enough people pre-buy, so much so that I can raise $40,000 US, then we have enough money to buy the components and start the factory. And this will become real. So the rules of crowdfunding are pretty simple. As a campaign owner, I get to choose several things. One is the duration of the campaign. It's either 1 day to 60 days. We chose 40 because that's the median, that's the norm. And then you get to choose your goal, and only you know what the goal is. In my case, I need $40,000 to buy all my components, and the factory would agree to actually produce it. So my goal was $40. So within 40 days, if enough people pay $40,000 to me, then the campaign is deemed successful. If it's successful, then it will run through the course of 40 days, and however much you raised would be given to you, and it's up to you to actually deliver it. If after 40 days you don't get the goal, then the whole thing is just a dream. Again, it's another validation. You know it's a bad idea, stop now or tweak it, right? So crowdfunding is pretty important because it also helps with the other two, marketing and retailing. So marketing, basically if you crowdfund, in my case, we actually did a very successful campaign. Again, our goal was $40,000. We actually raised $300,000 in the end. So we exceeded the goal by like 7.5 times. And that helped with marketing because a lot of news site or a lot of retailers actually would eyeball these things and see, hey, this is a new idea and is actually getting a lot of interest. So now when I talk to retailers, I don't have to beg them like, hey, please carry my thing and I'll pay you. We are more on equal grounds. And like, we have a hot item. Do you want to carry it? Or sometimes they approach me. Growth hack, I already talked about that because that is actually, growth hack is the general term for the food service that I just talked about. Basically, you use social media, you use digital marketing, and you use the data that you gather to try to hack your growth. You can just search on it on Google. There are a lot more interesting and in-depth people talks than I can give. And retailing, I just talked about as well, because crowdfunding is going to help with the retailing effort as well. So, so this is an older screenshot. I mean, today we are again over $300,000. So this is the result of that. And why do I say digital marketing and crowdfunding are the double-edged sword that's going to help Hong Kong? Is because nowhere else in the world where you can actually use these two tools to get, especially a hardware product, into the world. Now, digital marketing, of course, you can do it everywhere in the world, except China, because China, you can't even go to Facebook. Crowdfunding, again, you can do it anywhere else in the world, but there are a lot of crowdfunding failures, and a lot of times, and I lived through it, so I know, it's because when you're doing crowdfunding, you are a campaign owner, you invent something, you actually have a working prototype, but to take it into a factory and manufacture it and ship it to people is a totally different thing that nobody understands is that hard until you actually do it. And unless you are actually going to be next to China or within China, you can't hit the factory in the head every day and make sure it goes through. So Hong Kong is the only place where you can market to the world and still be on a train ride, or at least hire the people who actually deal with factories for decades to make this happen. And you are seeing a lot more hardware startups who raise money on Kickstarter or Indiegogo to actually move to Hong Kong and actually produce things. So we can talk more. I can go all day on this. I don't want to bore you, but reach out to me if you want to talk a little more. But as an entrepreneur in Hong Kong, I think the most relevant thing that I can share is there's actually a great hope in Hong Kong in terms of hardware startup, because now you can do a lot of validation, a lot of risk shifting to both your backers, I mean your customers, as well as to time shift it. You can do the validation before you actually do something. And Hong Kong is really the only place that I can think of that can take advantage fully on these two tools. That's all I have. Any questions? I probably ate into my question time. No? All right, I did a pretty good job. I explained everything very well. All right, thank you.
That's terrific. Thank you, Mr. Lee. We all feel very inspired by your talk.
At this time, I would like to introduce our next speaker, Mr. Castie, co-founder of All-in-One. He is an awardee of CCMF in 2015 winter and is a 2014 CityU College of Business graduate. who will speak today on Team Key Success Factor for Startup, followed by Q&A session. His talk will be in Cantonese.
跟住落嚟會同大家介紹下一個講者紀冠平先生，佢係 All-in-One 嘅創辦人之一啦，亦都係我哋城大中國企業管理課程嘅畢業生。雖然佢喺創業路之上入邊呢唔係一帆風順啦，但係佢都冇放棄到，最後獲得數碼港嘅創意微型基金資助。想知道佢嘅成功之道，就要記住留心聽，跟住落嚟分享合夥人時代啦。之後呢，就有問答環節，而家就請我哋熱烈嘅掌聲歡迎佢。
唔該晒，唔該晒，唔該晒 MC 同埋 technician 啦，唔使先生嘅哥哥得㗎啦，我都唔係帶你哋好多。咁就想問下在座咁多位，有冇人係 start 緊㗎？舉下手啊！或者想 start 咧，可能幫啲手喎。冇添，死火啊！問唔到下一個問題添。OK，anyways，有冇人覺得start 應該係一個人做，定係應該係一班人一齊做咧？點答咧？係咪？應該話 start 係咪應該一班人做咧？有嘅舉一舉手。好，通常都係冇回應嘅，唔緊要。咁其實咧，今日個話題咧就係想講下究竟合夥人究竟係咪一個好嘅選擇咧？咁樣咁我哋好多時候聽到啲前輩咁講嘅，就係話一個人可以走得好快，一 team 人咧就可以走得好遠。咁藉住我今日我自己少少experience 啦，就想同大家 share 下過往對住唔同嘅 partner 嘅一啲心得，同埋究竟應該點樣同 partner 一齊相處嘅。咁少少介紹下自己啦。Castie 其實係喺2014年喺中國企業管理系畢業嘅，喺在校期間呢，就同幾個師兄弟一齊夾份咧做咗一個商會，叫做中國商略聯合會，係啦。咁就主要係做啲兩岸四地交流活動啦，去學玩樂啊，走下中國唔同嘅地方。咁特別想講下呢一張相，PS 得好靚嘅。咁喺我清華 exchange 嘅時候咧影嘅。呢張相咧係我第一個創業嘅項目，就係做一件 baseball jacket。當時候咧就用1個禮拜時間咧就賺咗20萬翻嚟嘅。哇！第一次見到好似我咁高嘅人仔，嗰啲銀紙幾鬼開心啊！真係。咁喺嗰陣時候咧就萌生咗想創業嘅呢個念頭。咁翻到嚟香港之後咧就冇即刻創業，係揾工嘅。咁當時候就做咗一個金融嘅中介。做咗半年左右啦，但係我當時候亦都係物色緊坊間好多唔同嘅組織，係探究下究竟創業應該點樣做咧。當時候入咗一個叫做青年創業軍嘅圈子裏邊，見到好多唔同嘅行業嘅前輩啦，或者叫青年創業者啦，佢哋就喺裏邊一齊去共同去 share 自己嘅經歷咁樣啦。而家我有件業務咧，就有一個係 O2O 嘅平台，叫做香港電腦補習網，就專幫人去揾補習導師，係電腦方面嘅JavaScript 啊、Photoshop 啊咁樣都可以喺上面揾到啦。另外一個咧就係叫 All-in-One， 亦都係而家我主要做嘅一個平台。好啦，但係呢啲都唔係我最想講嘅項目嘅，咁就係喺我呢個做 IFA 完咗，即係 quit 咗金融中介之後咧，我終於做咗第一個真係屬於自己嘅創業項目啦。咁古仔咧就係發生於嗰陣時候，偶然間咧就遇翻當時候嘅一個大學嘅 partner 嘅朋友啦。同佢傾我都幾佩服佢嘅，其實因為佢做生意幾了得，對於做生意嗰種行動力咧係幾高嘅。當時候就同佢傾開偈啦。咁啱咧，我又想用一個實業嚟做開頭，即係創業啦。咁啱咧，佢又爭咗個 partner。咁啱咧，我哋大家又幾好傾。咁所以咧咁多咁啱之後咧，我就話得冇問題，錢我解決到。即刻博取就做呢個 party house 啦。通常啲古仔咧就係開頭就覺得好開心嘅，又有得玩啦，又可以賺下錢咁樣。去到中間嘅時候咧，啲問題開始慢慢湧現啦。債務咧就唔係債務，係應該話我哋嘅財務方面咧就開始有啲問題啦。就係喂，點解我哋條數又唔 mark 咧？有啲數究竟去咗邊度咧？咁另外就係話點解有啲錢我哋還翻俾之前啲 partner 嘅？咁同埋我哋分賬方面點解我又覺得好似對我有少少唔公平咁喎？啲問題越嚟越累積得多嘅時候咧，我自己終於都係冇講出口嘅。到係佢出口先，佢就係話：喂，阿 Cassie 今個月又要還錢俾阿邊個啊？所以我哋唔係好夠錢咧去交租，不如大家又再揞多少少出嚟啊咁樣。所以咧嗰陣時候，我第一個感覺就係唔緊要啦，反正都夾開咁都3-4個月咯，過埋呢個月應該會好啲嘅。 但係我身邊嘅朋友同埋屋企人咧，都係堅決咁樣同我講話，唔好再咁樣落去啦。所以當時候就坐低傾偈開會，咁就話我唔會再抌錢入嚟啦。咁最後點樣收尾咧？就當然係不歡而散啦。咁我投資大概6位嘅數字咧，都快會有啦。呢個故事咧，教訓咧就非常之沉痛啦。咁包括係心痛同埋肉赤嘅。咁肉赤方面咧，我又覺得其實錢可以賺得翻嘅。心痛多啲嘅地方就係喺日後同人交往或者係叫做生意方面咧，都會有多一重考慮咯。喺對人嘅信任方面。咁所以咧，今日想帶出一個重點啦，或者係結論咧，就係話我當時候有2個 point 我係冇考慮得好清楚嘅。第一個咧就係衰衝動。覺得喂正喎，喺 O-Camp 期間一日都起碼1萬蚊啦可以收，我想揾快錢嘅心態，好多嘢都冇去了解清楚，包括可能係講緊話個公司嘅財務狀況啦，究竟個股權分佈啦，同埋我哋合作嘅方式、營運方法，同時之間亦都係冇做咗一個白紙黑字嘅協議，所以就變成咗日後種種嘅不便啦，或者係有爭拗咁樣咯。其實到而家嚟講啦，其實我個人覺得啊，其實我都幾多謝呢位 partner 嘅，其實佢都教咗我好多嘢。因為每個人都會從佢自己角度出發去做決定嘅，所以要怪嘅話都要怪自己，當時候冇做足保護自己同埋保護身邊人嘅措施，以至到去到呢個失敗嘅情況咯。係啦，咁點解我完咗呢一個project 即係失敗咗之後咧？我就即刻再揾另外一個新 team 啦。但係點解我仲咁 eager 要揾一個合夥人或者 partner 咧？因為其實重點就在於而家我哋處於一個青年創業嘅期間啦。冇錢冇經驗冇技術，所以咧就算有 idea 好，都未必可以 realize 到。就算係實現到，都未必執行得好。如果多個人嘅話咧，多個頭腦啦。就算佢冇頭腦嘅話，都可以叫佢寫下稿啊嘛，係咪？所以咧，我就幾 prefer 係一 team 人咁去做啦。同埋其實我哋創業最大嘅一個敵人咧係時間。如果你能夠喺短時間裏邊有晒咁多種技能嘅話咧，咁就最好啦。但係好多時候我哋要學好多唔同嘅嘢，所以如果有其他 partner 同你一齊做大咗個餅之後，先至再一齊向前嘅話咧，會比較 efficient 啲啦，我會覺得。我講解下我而家 all-in-one 嘅 team 有啲咩人啦？有我啦，呢張相就冇 PS 到嘅。另外咧 Edward 咧就係一個 designer 嚟嘅，佢就係負責做 branding 啦。另外Metal 咧就係做 cross-media 嘅，仲有做 AP 係做 programming 嘅。點解一 team 人係咁樣嘅組合咧？係有根據嘅，就係我自己比較信奉一個原則，就係一個企業嘅巨人咧，應該有幾個元素係要兼顧到嘅。先講下右下角嗰個先啦。programming 就係用緊你個左腦 logic 同埋做產品嘅，佢淨係記得你就得㗎啦。產品同埋產品，將你哋嘅 idea 就係 realize 咗佢，就變成咗一個可以用得到嘅嘢。但係有左腦係唔夠嘅，你都係需要兼顧人嘅情感，就係 creativity 嗰邊啦。因為你要做 present，你係需要 emotion 啦，你係需要俾人睇你哋嘅樣啦，所以就會係用你哋嘅idea 啦，同埋去 design 去將你哋件事做得靚啲。記得 partner Ella 佢講過一句説話，我好入腦嘅，就係 people who ignore design that ignore people。係啦，大家去攆下呢句啦。最後一個咧就係有咗腦之後咧，仲需要有個 body 去行嘅。嗰個咧就係 philosophy 啦。哲學同埋管理嘅人係必須要有嘅，因為佢就係影響咗呢個企業嘅三觀。咩三觀咧？價值觀、世界觀同埋人生觀。你個企業係點樣嘅話，其實就等於係你哋幾個人嘅一個放大版啊，企業文化嚟嘅。所以一定係要從佢係影響到大家，以身作則去從事你哋所做嘅所有嘢。如果大家嘅 team 裏邊有齊呢3種人喺裏邊嘅，恭喜你，你離成功不遠㗎啦。不過咧成功有條 team 咧都係第一步嘅啫。你哋玩緊嘅係一個2人3足嘅遊戲，組到一條 team 係好事，行到先至係另外一回事嚟嘅。所以咧，你哋喺行嘅經歷裏邊咧，就好似頭先咁講，有啲企業文化喺裏邊嘅。終結咗我集結咗我喺呢個 party house 裏邊嘅經歷啦。我都探討過究竟點樣先可以推動得好啲一個企業去成長，或者係同啲 partner 共處得好啲。第一個咧係人性。 係大家冇得逃避要去面對嘅嘢。因為如果一班人一齊做嘢嘅話，好多時候咧有工嘅時候咧，就會覺得呢件事我攞工大啲嘅，其實有嘢要孭嘅時候咧，就覺得其實係 partner 佢唔啱多啲嘅喎。咁所以呢件事咧，就大家要 bear in mind，就係話如果有啲咩事情發生嘅時候咧，大家都需要去照顧翻身邊嘅 partner 啦，就係所以應該要去讚賞 appreciate 多啲身邊嘅人啦。另外一樣嘢就係同情，唔係同情，理解同理心係啦。咁應該係要對 partner 咧，好似一個情人咁樣。我唔係叫你要攬住佢嘴佢咁樣，而係話你對 partner 要有相對嘅理解性。每個人做每個決定咧，其實都有佢自己嘅出發點同埋原因嘅。咁如果你能夠站喺你 partner 嘅角度去考慮佢所諗嘅嘢嘅話，基本上你哋所做嘅決策咧，都能夠係折衷到嘅，都能夠係大家可以兼顧到大家嘅決定嘅。第三方面咧就係溝通，哇！呢樣嘢真係好難好難，我哋到而家呢個刻都係仲係改進緊階段改進啦。因為呢個 communication 咧係我覺得係人生一個好大嘅話題嚟嘅。揾到一個能夠對到嘴嘅人咧係你嘅緣分嚟嘅。咁如果人哋嘅溝通都有效嘅話咧，咁我覺得你個你個企業咧，即係你哋大家一齊合作嘅話咧，就會做得好好多噶啦。最後一樣嘢啦，就係大家咧要有一個心態，就係要助人成功咯。即係因為呢件事係大家共同嘅，所以如果你嘅 partner 成功嘅話咧，就等於係你都會成功嘅。所以如果有啲咩好嘢嘅話，其實除咗係 share 之外咧，亦都係要多啲 effort 係擺喺你身邊嘅 partner 度，令到佢都能夠係吸收到呢種 effort 咯。所以呢幾樣嘢咧，就我覺得係比較重要啲，係一個同 partner 一齊去做共事嘅時候需要有嘅元素咯。咁好多時候都係嘅，內心魔鬼與天使嘅掙扎啦。有陣時候都會去不斷去 keep 住去諗啦，究竟邊啲決策係做啲咩？但係呢樣嘢唔需要擔心，因為每一個成功嘅企業家都係經過呢一種嘅階段，只係唔同嘅地方就係大家嘅選擇係啲咩啫。咁我覺得企業文化咧係即係作為一個合夥人時代裏邊最重要嘅一樣嘢啦，就係呢樣嘢係大家共同去產生嘅。咁我好信奉一樣嘢嘅，就係如果大家合夥嘅話咧，一定係大家有一個共同嘅目標，從而去產生友情或者感情啦，好過你係因為感情而去要做一個共同目標出嚟嘅。係啦，後者咧產生嘅問題會比較多啲啦，我會覺得。所以到而家為止，我 so far 都比較開心嘅，因為我遇到而家嘅團隊，亦都同以前某幾個項目嘅 partner 都相處得好好啦。就係咁樣啦。咁我嘅分享就到呢度啦，多謝各位。係啦，如果大家有冇咩問題想問咧，好，冇嘅話我就坐反對啦，唔該晒。
Thank you, Mr. Key, for your informative and interesting talk. Could you please remain here while I ask that Mr. Lee to return to the stage, and that Dr. Eric Chen also come up. Dr. Chen, as the representative of Innovation Commons, will present souvenirs to our guest speakers. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Chen, for presenting the souvenirs. At this time, our event is coming to a close. But may we invite you to partake the refreshments over there and have the networking time now. Thank you.